Hi guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So we are here for another one of our mass making sessions. We are up to week number 192, would you believe? It is just flying by. So yep, 192. So for those people who don't watch my channel, we are doing reruns. So we are rerunning week number 92. So we are now week number 192. And what we are making today is we are making, oh gosh, let me just double check what I called these. I mean, again, I have just watched the video this morning, and again, I now can't remember what I actually called them. So hold on a second. So, right, we are making full sheet fold up journal pull out. So what I mean by that is we're making a fold up pull out from a whole sheet of paper. Now, I have brought along predominantly thinner papers for this, although I do have a selection of thicker papers as well. And the reason why I've said I've predominantly brought these along is because I have either printed these double-sided or coffee dyed most of these, where these thicker papers are single-sided. But I mean, it's not a big deal because I can always obviously coffee dye these after, because all we're doing is literally folding. So if you want to make along, what are you going to need? So you are going to need some sort of paper. Now, when I say that, you can of course use scrapbook paper, that would be fine. I would recommend not the very thick paper. My paper here this is 120 GSM. So normal copy paper is, I think, between 70 and 80 GSM. This is 120, so it's, you know, it's thicker than copy paper, but it's not by any means, it's not a cardstock. Now my thicker paper, if I just show you, this is 230, I think it is, GSM. So it's a lot thicker, you know, a lot thicker than this. It's still not necessarily a cardstock. So if you're going to be using scrapbook paper from your scrapbook pads, no thicker than probably 250 GSM. So some of them, I think, occasionally you get like 300 and things like that. Only because you're going to find it a little bit too thick. It will bulk out quite a bit once it's folded. It might be hard to fold. And also if it's too thick, when you fold, it can sometimes crack the paper. So, you know, my recommendation is preferably no thicker than 250-ish. Now, mine are A4 size. That's because that's what we use here in the UK. So mine are all printables. Again, that's because that's what I predominantly have these days. But of course, you could use, like I say, scrapbook paper. You could use sheet music. You could use book page. Now, again, if you use book page, I would recommend probably, you know, from like one of those large coffee table books, because that's going to give you the larger size paper. What I would say is you want rectangular. So if you're using scrapbook paper, you're going to want to chop off, say, the top, you know, 3 inches or something like that, so that you get a rectangular shape. Aside from that, you are going to need possibly a bone folder. If you don't have a bone folder, of course you could use your, you know, scissor handles or anything. I am just going to use my scissors for cutting. You may wish to use a scoreboard, you know, and a paper trimmer. That's absolutely fine. I just prefer to use scissors. You may want to use your blendy tool with, you know, an ink pad. Again, I tend to favour vintage photo or sometimes walnut stain. So that's those. Now, with regards to the insides of these, as I said, I am using predominantly either double-sided or coffee dyed on the inside. That's because you're going to fold these out and see the inside. If your paper is white, like this, I'm going to save my coffee dyeing for after, and I would then coffee dye it. Another alternative is I've got here some what I call fly sheets, you know, from the insides of books, or, you know, papers with a lot of blank space on them from the books. And what you could do is cut those and put them as journaling space, and you'll see when we, you know, when we get into it, what you would do. So if you're doing that, you may want to have obviously some glue, and you may want to have like a glue spreader or something like that for, you know, spreading your glue. If you're not doing that and you're just going to have yours kind of, you know, with the coffee dyed blank, then you might not even need glue. Now, aside from that, you may want to have something as a closure. And again, this is all optional extras, because these are things that you might want to do later. You know, just make your blank bases now and make your closures and things later. If you want closures, You might like to use paper clips. You may like to use, you know, for example, like topper type pieces that you would, you know, slot your top in. And again, you will see what we're making in a moment. And you may want to use, you know, like the policy closures with the circles and some twine. So, you know, adapt it to how you want to use them, or make as far in, you know, i.e. decorated or not decorated, closed or, you know, not with a closure at this point. So let's have a look and see how we make these. So I'm just going to start with this sheet of paper here. So this is from my vintage toppers papers, and it's the collage sheet. So all you're actually going to do is take your, you know, your rectangular piece of paper, in my case an A4 sheet. I'm going to fold it in half. Now remember, this is 120 GSM, so it's, you know, it's nice and easy to fold. So, and saying that, I'm still mucked up my folding. Okay, so you're going to go down like that. I'm going to just take my bone folder, but like I say, you could use your scissor handle, that would be fine too. So you folded it in half. Now you'll notice that I've put the decorative side on the inside like that. The reason being is because what we're then going to do is we're going to fold our paper back over so that that decorative side is now showing, if you see what I mean. So if I'd folded it with the decorative side over, then now, you know, the fold would be the plain side. So, you know, you want to have your decorative side on the inside with your first fold. Turn it over and do another fold like that. So effectively, you've got now 4 sides of your paper. So squish that down like that. Okay, so all your, you know, folds are like that. Now what you want to do at this point is just make like a little foldy flap. So decide which side that you want to have as your, you know, your front side. So I'm just going to have a look and see. I think I want to have this side. So I'm just going to fold my top edge of my paper down. Now I like to do this by opening the paper back out and just folding it along the fold like that. Okay, you will find, you know, what works best for you. Maybe you would prefer to do it when it's folded. This for me seems to be the easiest method. Now what you want to do is you want to chop this line off up to this fold line. So let me put my glasses on. And what I like to do is fold, or sorry, cut along the fold line like that. Personally for me, if I used a paper trimmer, I would end up chopping too far, and I'd chop into my, you know, this bit here, which of course I don't want to do. So I've gone up to there, and then I could just go a little bit further. Oops, like that, into my fold line. Okay, and then I'm going to take my piece, and what I want to do is, I hope you can see this on the camera, where my fold is, I just want to cut it sort of envelope shaped. And, you know, I'm using that term very loosely. But this is going to be like your envelope flap, okay? So I can get rid of this little tiny piece there. Now that I'm going to use as my guide for the other side. So a bit like we do when we do the tags and we just flip the corners over, we're just going to take this here and pop it onto this corner, and we're just going to use that as a sort of template there for cutting that side. So hopefully we've got similar-ish sides. So then what happens is you fold your piece, oops, back up like that, and you've got your little foldy flap like that. Okay, now this is where, of course, where I said, you know, you may want to do your closure. So if I just pull this in, you would then glue this down here, and, you know, this tucks in like that. Alternatively, you may want to do like a policy closure or something. Or, you know, you may want to do just a little paper clip at the top. I mean, anything goes really with regards to your closure, but it's quite a nice journaling piece. Obviously, you know, it gives you a lot of journaling space, and then this could be glued in on this base side, like, whoops, like that. Or of course this could be tucked into a pocket or clipped onto a page, you know, any of those things. So it's quite a, you know, quite a nice kind of piece. And of course what you've got is you've got these 4 sides for journaling, and then when you turn it over you've got these sides as well. Not this side, because this is, you know, this is going to be your pretty front piece, but potentially these. So where I was talking about the blank pieces of paper, you may want to take those and then cut those down. So if I just cut this down sort of to size, let me just put this down like that. Okay, so I'm just going to roughly, oops, I'm not making a good job of this, roughly cut this down. So if I take that along there, okay, and then to make it, you know, the size that you need it to be, just, I like to just fold it, you know, against the piece, if you see what I mean. So then I'm going to just cut that down like that. You know, and these are just my shortcuts that I like to do, is cut it against the fold, and that gives you, you know, reasonably straight edges. And then take this piece and then use it as a template to cut a second piece, because of course we've got 2 sides that need little journaling spots. Okay, move that. So that's a good use of that piece of paper from book page. Of course, you know, you could use coffee dyed paper, but I just thought this is quite a good use for the blank sort of book page. So just snip that one off. And then obviously, you know, this is a little bit on the tall side, so you then just take them both together and then we can just cut them down like that. And then at this point, you know, completely up to you. You might want to round the corners, you know, or leave them, up to you. But you can then tailor this to your piece. Oops, not making a good job of this, but, and then you'd glue these into there. So that's your journaling space on this side. And then of course you could potentially do the same on these 4 sides, or you may want to leave them as just coffee dyed paper. Either would work, but you know, quite a lot of journaling space there, so they're quite a sort of nifty piece really. So I probably made it sound way more complicated than it actually is. So I'm just going to move this one to one side, and we will do another one which hopefully will look a little bit more straightforward. So I'm going to take this sheet of paper here. So this is from my shoes set 2 papers. Excuse me. And again, it's being backed onto decorative paper. So this is from my lace collection papers, the purple set. So we're going to fold it in with this as the neutral side. So this is kind of what I was using, you know, had the coffee dyed side on this one, is this, because obviously it's nice and neutral. You could easily journal on there. So I'm just going to fold that over, squish it down with the bone folder. So remember, you want your decorative outer edge folded on the inside, okay? Then you're going to take your first piece and you're going to fold it back out onto that, meeting up with the edge. Then you're going to turn it over and you're going to fold it down on the other side like that, okay? And then you've got your 4 sides. You're going to open it back out and you're going to fold down where you want your flap to be, or you know, how big you want your flap to be. So squish that down like that. Okie dokie. Now I'm going to cut along this line here up to this folded edge. So again, I'm going to pop my glasses on and we're just going to go along here. And like I say, you know, you can use your paper trimmer for this piece, you know, for this stage. I personally would honestly just muck this up, but you know, do whatever you find easiest to do. So I've gone into the fold line, or you know, up to the fold line, open it out, then you're going to cut your, you know, sort of envelope shape. Excuse me. And then you're going to take your piece and you're going to just put it on here like a little template. Obviously you need to kind of turn it upside down and then onto there like that. Okay. And then you've got your little foldy piece. Now obviously because this is you know, slightly more decorative, like I said, I would personally use this as a journaling space, but you know, you may want to actually cover this with some plain book page or plain coffee dyed paper or anything. You know, completely up to you how you finish these off. But obviously, you know, you definitely want to probably do it in here because these two are decorative pieces. But that's all there is to these. And I just think they're really lovely because you do have a lot of journaling space in there. They're pretty flat, you know, and yeah, they could be glued in or popped into pockets. So I think they're quite a nice one, really. So I'm just going to paper clip that to hold it closed. So yeah, we're just going to kind of mass make a bunch of these, and you just, you know, relax into it and have a nice time. I will make one or two from some thicker card just to kind of demonstrate, you know, that it's going to be workable using thicker card. But I will probably make most of them from the thinner paper. So let me just put in a thicker piece. Oh, perhaps we'll make some with this, the brown lace. That's really lovely, isn't it? Yeah, perhaps we'll do some from that. But like I say, I will coffee dye this after the, you know, after the video, after I've made it. But I just want to kind of demonstrate that, you know, they're just as nice if they're done from the thin paper or the thicker paper, although I would add the caveat of not too thick, so not above like 250 GSM or anything like that. So yeah, but we shall just relax into it. I won't really be kind of talking you through because of course, you know, it's nothing very complicated, but what I will probably do is do it assembly line style. So I'll do all of my folding at once, all of my cutting, you know, along the thing at once. And then, you know, at the end, we'll just decorate one up to kind of give you some ideas of how to decorate them. So yeah, let's just kind of relax now and have a nice time, have a catch up. So hope everybody's week has started out well. I know I say this every week, but yes, I'm filming this on the Monday, ready to go out for you guys on the Tuesday. Oh, it's been a crazy week. So yes, if you follow my channel, you'll know that I rented my house out last week for an event that's held locally. It was the Goodwood Festival of Speed last week. So yeah, I rented my house out. So yeah, was out of my house for a week basically. So yes, only moved back in actually only last night. So kind of crazy, and I'm quite late filming this morning because of course, actually I might just fold them all this way first and then do all the lids. So this was my I think this was from the purple lace collection. And this is my Junk Journal Basics Kit 2, and it's backed with the lace collection. So I will try and remember to always point out which papers that we're using. Yeah, so I'm kind of like running a little bit later this morning because obviously we only got back in, you know, last night. So yeah, crazy. But aside from, you know, washing the bedding and all of that kind of stuff, which obviously I'm in the process of doing, everything was pretty, you know, pretty neat and tidy and pretty well looked after and, you know, all of that stuff. So yeah, just so lovely to be back in our house. I mean, you know, I'd stayed with my sister, and I know I'd said this before, but, you know, it was so kind of her to let us stay. And it was just me and my daughter in the end. My daughter was supposed to be staying with her dad, but he didn't end up having her. And yeah, so we stayed there. But like with all these things, it's just so nice when you get back to your own house because, you know, it's not the same being at somebody else's house, is it? And yeah, it felt just, I don't know, kind of not felt in the way, but, you know, you felt kind of like just, you know, you didn't know what to do with yourself, I suppose would be the word. You know, kind of, you don't want to, I don't know, like have dinner really late or anything. And, you know, we obviously eat later than they do and things like that. So it was just a little bit sort of up and down really. And yeah, I just, you know, feel like have to explain, oh, you know, tomorrow morning I'll be doing this. And oh, just all those kinds of things. So it's really nice to be home. This is from the Cambridge Gardens papers. And again, it's just backed onto that lace piece from the purple lace papers. So yeah, really, really, really nice to get home, you know, finally yesterday. So this is the Claridge's paper, and again, just backed onto that lace sheet. But it was lovely of her to have us, and you know, we did have a nice time, you know. So yeah, and probably the highlight of my week, she cooked. Now I'm a vegetarian, so I did not eat these, but she cooked them for herself and her son and my daughter. They are called smash burgers. Now, she talked about these a lot, you know, in the past, kind of saying how easy they were to make and everything. But I don't know about you, but I'm one of those people, unless I actually see something being made in the flesh, you know, I'm not great at attempting it. So, you know, she kind of described it and I thought, oh, well, that can't be all there is to it, you know. Oh, my goodness, they are amazing. So a lot of you have probably heard of them because apparently they're a bit of a trending thing at the moment. I hadn't heard of them until she'd said about them a few months ago, and I still haven't heard of them anywhere else. But yeah, basically, now, all they are, and this is unbelievable. So, you know, I'm sure that probably most of us have tried to make burgers at some point. So I've tried to make them in the past. I've tried to make meat burgers, you know, for the kids. And I've tried to make like veggie burgers, you know, for myself and the kids. And they're always a lot of kind of mucking about. You have to mix all this rubbish in a bowl and, you know, use an egg and try and get them to stick together. And inevitably, they just crumble about, don't they, in the frying pan and do not stick together. You know, so they're very disappointing. I mean, sometimes they can be very tasty, but they often don't really end up resembling a burger. Well, these smash burgers, oh my goodness, flabbergasting how easy these are. And I'm assured that apparently they taste like, yeah, a McDonald's burger. Now, I apologise because I'm not saying that everybody likes McDonald's, but, you know, obviously, I mean, a lot of children like McDonald's, don't they? And, you know, my daughter likes McDonald's. Her son likes McDonald's, you know, she obviously likes McDonald's. So, yeah, if you're a bit partial to a McDonald's burger, they apparently just taste, oops, this is the Apricot Days, I think this is called, collage papers. And again, backed onto that same lace. So, yeah, did I tell you this one? Oh, this is the Pink Perfumery paper. Yes, so all you do is literally take some, oh gosh, what do you call it? 5% mince. I don't know whether the percentage of the mince, you know, percent fat of the mince makes a difference. She used 5% fat mince. And all you do is literally get your packet of mince, take out a handful of the mince, roll it round, put it into the frying pan with like a little tiny bit of, she uses this stuff called Fry Light. It's like a light olive oil. And then you get your, you know, your ball of mince. Get a big mixing bowl, kind of something with a big flat surface, probably bigger than a cup, to be honest. You know, when I first saw it, I thought, well, why is she not just using a cup? But I could see why in the end, because you're going to then squish that circle down to make a big burger. And the burger was about that big, so bigger than the base of a cup, unless it's one of them giant mugs, you know. And then she just salt and pepper, you know, whilst it's in the pan cooking, salt and pepper, cook it for a couple of minutes, turn it over, salt and pepper on that side, and cook that for a couple of minutes as well. That is it. And trust me, they do not crumble. They, oh, absolutely were genius. I've done this, folded this the wrong way. Absolutely. Oh my goodness, I've folded them all the wrong way. Look, busy talking, totally forgot what I was doing. Yeah, so absolutely genius. And then what she did, she said, you have to use brioche buns. For some reason, the brioche buns are the buns to use. So she then had the buns, you know, open ready with like some relish and some ketchup, you know. So pop the burgers into the buns in tin foil. Now she has got an air fryer, which I have wanted to get an air fryer for a long time. So yeah, I'm getting an air fryer now. So again, it was one of those things that I needed to see in the flesh how it worked, you know, and whether it was kind of something we would use. But I mean, apparently, you know, people don't use their ovens really after they get air fryers because they just cook everything in the air fryer. And it's so much quicker and therefore obviously a lot cheaper with your bills, you know, because you're not using your gas and electric, you're just using this air fryer. So anyway, she said, have to put it in the air fryer. So you put your whole, you know, your bun with the burger in, wrap it in the tin foil, and then you put the whole lot in like the thing, like the drawer that comes out of the air fryer. Put the whole thing in for literally a couple of minutes, you know, I mean, hardly anything. And when it comes out, you eat it out of the tin foil as if you were eating your McDonald's out of the, you know, the packaging. And then the bun is kind of like sort of, it's not really toasted, but it's got this kind of squishy type thing going on. Oh my goodness, they looked so authentic, like so good. And yeah, the kids said, yeah, they tasted exactly like McDonald's burgers, and, you know, really, really good. And obviously what happens, you know, when you buy burgers, like a box of, you know, like 8 burgers or 4 beef burgers or whatever, and they start out this size, don't they? And you put them in the frying pan, and then by the time you know, you've cooked them, they're that size, you know. Well, what happens with these, you know, when you've squashed them down with the bowl, they're that size. When you take them out, they're still that size. They do not shrink at all. So they are brilliant. And do you know, I've just folded that on the wrong way as well. I mean, just talking and just forgetting what I'm doing. So yeah, absolutely genius, and I can't wait. So I'm going to, you know, have to do some food shopping today anyway, because of course we've got no food where we've run our cupboards down, you know, for the guests. So yeah, when I go out to do my food shopping in a minute, I'm going to buy some of that 5% mince, and I'm going to buy some brioche rolls, and I'm going to attempt to make those myself tonight. So I've already said, you know, to the kids, oh my goodness, I'm going to make smash burgers. I can't wait. They look so good. So yeah, so good. So, I mean, obviously I won't be eating them because they are meat, and I'm not sure that vegetarian mince would actually kind of work, because obviously I assume it needs the fat to sort of gel it together, which is a shame, because yeah, it would have been really good. Well, that was the Victorian Springtime kit, and this was the shoes set 2 papers again. So that's those. Now I'm just going to make a couple more with the thicker papers. Yeah, so absolutely fantastic. Really, really, really good. This is from the Savile Row kit. Yeah, really good. So I can't wait to actually make some of those. They looked so easy. Bo, you know, our gorgeous little doggy, she came with me to my sister's. Bo used to be my sister's dog anyway, so, you know, she kind of like, you know, she knew the drill when we went there and everything. But yeah, I think she's happy to be home, bless her. So, you know, I don't think she minded being there, but yeah, I think she's pleased to be home too. So yeah, I mean, a lot of washing to do now today, but my goodness, it's nice to be back. So yeah, that's pretty much kind of my, you know, my whole week there was just, you know, moving out and what have you. Right, I'm going to take these now and I'm going to fold in the tops. So what I'm going to do is do it again assembly style, where I'm going to do all the folding and then I'll do all the cutting, you know, in one sort of stage. So I will fold all of the lids down first. So yeah, that was kind of my whole week. I'm trying to think whether we watched anything on TV. Not really, to be honest. It was quite nice kind of having company, really, you know, for her and things and for me. So yeah, we didn't really watch a great deal of telly. Did we do anything else? I don't think so, really. Yeah, don't think we really did. What was the weather like while we were there? Do you know, the week just really went by in a bit of a blur. I couldn't really tell you, to be honest. I mean, unfortunately, I thought, oh, I'm going to be really productive. And the amount of craft things that I took with me was unbelievable. I mean, I think my sister thought, what on earth? How long is she moving in for? And, you know, I really hardly got to do any because I just, I couldn't find a space that worked really in her house. You know, I thought, oh, I'll do it in the little bedroom, you know, the bedroom where I was going to be sleeping. and then, to be honest, there wasn't like a plug nearby and things like that. But, you know, the lighting wasn't kind of like, you know, good to be able to be crafting or anything. So I couldn't really do it in there. And, you know, she's got 2 dogs. I've obviously got the dog. And so while she was out at work on the days that she worked, you know, the dogs obviously would be in there with me. And I'm just on this single bed with the dogs, with no plug, you know, for my hot glue gun and things. So I wasn't really able to craft in there. I'm so sorry for those pinging and pinging of my, you know, phone or iPad. But yeah, it was one of those things. So, you know, wasn't able to kind of craft as I'd hoped. I thought, oh, I'll do it on the dining table. But again, it just didn't really kind of quite work as I'd hoped, because, you know, everyone was eating off the dining table. And they kind of leave their mats on the table and things like that. So obviously, you know, within 5 minutes, my craft things are all spread everywhere. They're then spread across where everyone's going to be eating. So it just was not really conducive to working. So I'm going to try and do a lot of stuff this week, you know, because, yeah, I want to obviously restock my website. So I'm hoping to, yeah, restock that probably later in the week. It might even be as far away as the weekend. It just depends how quickly I can get things made and doing things. So, and I'm not sure how much work Natalie's going to be able to be doing this week, because I know that she's got quite a few things going on this week herself. And of course the children are breaking up this week as well from school. So, you know, it's just going to be one of those weeks really. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure, but anyway, you know. And I want to thank everybody who has entered the giveaway so far. I mean, I haven't obviously been reading all of the comments. You know, I've been reading some of the comments and not obviously read all of them. But yeah, lots of fantastic suggestions coming through for, you know, potential kind of ideas for kits and things. So thank you so much. Now I'm just working out which way I need to fold this to have this as the front. Okay, so I need to, I think, cut this direction, which is going to be weird. Right, let me do it this way around. Yeah, thank you so much. The comments that I have read, there have been some fantastic suggestions. Obviously, you know, the entry, not requirement exactly, but, you know, the entry, oh, what would the word be? Not criteria even, I don't know. Anyway, to enter, you know, I was asking to, you know, for you to leave 3 suggestions for, you know, possible themes for my collections papers that you would like to see. You know, because of course there's no point me making things that I think would be nice if then actually nobody else really wants them. So yes, thank you so much to everybody who's entered so far. Fantastic suggestions coming along, and yeah, hopefully, you know, I'll be able to kind of make some kits and things, you know, following some of, or picking up some of those suggestions. So thank you so much. Obviously, if you haven't entered the giveaway, it's running until Friday. So, yep. Sorry, I'm just checking that this is, because I looked like I'd cut it a bit wonky, but I think it's fine. This one, I don't think it really matters too much, but I'll do it this way actually. So yeah, thank you so much to everybody who has entered the giveaway. But if you haven't entered, then there's plenty of time to still enter, you know, between now and Friday. So, and I know that, you know, one of the comments that I did read certainly had said, oh, I don't know whether this is open to everybody, like, you know, internationally. It is. I think I did say that in the video, but just in case anybody missed it, yes, it is open, you know, to everyone, as long as you're over 18 and as long as you're a subscriber. So yeah, good luck to everybody, and good luck if you've yet to enter. So yep. Okay, right, there we go. Oh, it was terrible because the Festival of Speed, which was the event that I'd rented the house out for, it's a very big event locally. I mean, I assume it's a big event in the motoring world, you know, internationally, because people come from all over the place. And the people we were renting our house to, I think, were from Canada. I'm trying to remember. I'm sure they were from Canada. So people come from, you know, all over for the event. Well, it was on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, on the Thursday, it's what they call a trade day. Trade? Yeah, trade day. So I don't think the racing is really going on. It's kind of like practice laps and things like that, I think. You know, so it's not actually kind of racing. But, you know, the exhibitors and things, I don't know whether they're still setting up, but anyway. So it was on Thursday, and then it was obviously, you know, one of the proper kind of event days on the Friday. Well, on the Saturday, so when I was staying at my sister's, she lives about, you know, I don't know, 9 miles away from me. So my gym is literally down the road to me. You know, it takes me kind of 5 minutes to drive there. So to go to the gym from her house, you know, would normally take, I guess, probably about 15, 20 minutes. Well, on the Thursday, I was bringing my daughter into school every day, which, of course, you know, was about then 15, 20 minutes. On the Thursday, it took me an hour and a half to get in because of the volume of traffic. It was just absolutely crazy. So, yeah, really, really, really crazy. And then Friday, very similar story. Was it as busy? Oh, it might have not been so bad on Friday, actually, I'm thinking. Yeah, maybe Friday wasn't as bad. But on Saturday, so I got up and I went to the gym, and I thought, well, that's really weird. There's no traffic, which was very strange. But I just thought, well, who knows, you know, maybe it's because it's not a school day and things like that. Well, I couldn't believe it. So I went to the gym, and, you know, I've got sort of, you know, lovely friends there who obviously, you know, we were all friends with, you know, my lovely friend Gary. So, yeah, we all went for coffee, and, you know, we said, well, weird, isn't it? There's like no traffic, and we just literally have to cross over the road from the gym over to the coffee shop. And we said, you know, weird, no traffic. And then one of, you know, the people who were with us, she said, oh, well, that's because Goodwood's been cancelled today. Goodwood was cancelled on Saturday. So I didn't realise it had been this long, but apparently there have been 30 Festival of Bees. I mean, that's a long time to have been running that event, isn't it? I mean, I couldn't believe it, to be honest. It feels like it's a sort of new event, but anyway. That goes to show how fast time flies, doesn't it? So, yeah, apparently, because of the very strong winds, and, you know, it was pretty windy on Saturday, but, I mean, you know, shocking that it was so windy that it warranted cancelling the event. But, I mean, I guess, you know, they have to, because well, I'm guessing because of things like, you know, stands and things, you know, and all the kind of, oh gosh, what do you call it? You know, like the exhibitor type stands and things. I mean, I guess, you know, they could kind of like fall over or collapse, you know. And I mean, I guess, you know, potentially crush someone, couldn't they? So I'm assuming that that's why it had to be cancelled. But, oh my goodness, so disappointing for anybody who, like my, you know, my people who stayed, obviously, they'd come from Canada. I mean, as it happens, it turned out they weren't actually going there on the Saturday. So, you know, they were very lucky because they obviously weren't missing anything. But, you know, it would have been so disappointing, wouldn't it, if you were, you know, if you were going. And, you know, I mean, potentially, I guess you could have come over and only been going to the Saturday. And then, of course, you know, it was cancelled. And, you know, they sell out. So all of the tickets sell out. You know, it's not like you could still get tickets or anything. So, I mean, if you had a Saturday ticket, I mean, I assume that they have a legal, you know, maximum capacity. And that's how come they've sold out, is because they've sold to their, you know, their legal maximum. It's not like you could suddenly say, oh, well, you know, I didn't come yesterday, therefore I'm going to come today. I don't think that opportunity would be there because obviously Sunday was sold out as well. So, yeah, I mean, it must have been a really, really tough decision, mustn't it, for the, you know, the organisers and things. I mean, to actually just take that decision to cancel it, I mean, that must have been huge, absolutely huge. And I'm sure they must have felt so gutted having to cancel it themselves. But I guess, you know, I mean, although it must have been hugely disappointing for anyone going, I mean, like I say, you just can't take that risk, can you, of kind of injuring somebody, or even worse, you know, killing someone by potentially something, you know, collapsing onto someone. You know, which I can only assume was the reason why it was cancelled. I mean, yeah. But anyway, just very, very, very shocking. So, yeah, I know that the announcement went out saying, you know, first time ever, you know, in 30 years that, you know, the, not the exhibition, but, you know, the event has had to be cancelled. And, you know, I mean, it must have been such a sad day, I'm sure, you know, to have to cancel that. So, yeah, just shocking. I was so shocked. But, you know, like I say, I mean, I think really safety, you know, rightly so, really, I suppose, does come first. So, yeah, anyway, that was that. But on the good, on the plus side, it meant there was no traffic getting to the gym. That was like, wow. No traffic today. So yeah, that was all good really for me. But yeah, not great for anybody who was, you know, either exhibiting. And I mean, I guess as well, it's not just like exhibitors, it's not just the visitors. You know, there's people, they've shipped their cars across from, you know, I mean, like all over the world. You know, cars get kind of shipped across for the event. And I mean, you know, the costs involved in, you know, bringing a race car over from, I don't know where they come from, but, you know, all over the world. I mean, oh my goodness. And again, I mean, I don't know how it works. I don't know whether, like, if you were, say, scheduled in a race on Saturday, I don't know. Would you have been scheduled in another race? I don't know. Maybe you would have only been scheduled in a race on Saturday, in which case you might have shipped your racing car over and not even got to then race it. You know, presumably like a race driver, you know, had to potentially come over if they didn't live here, which, you know, chances are they probably didn't if the car was coming from somewhere else. You know, the, I don't know, team of people who kind of support that, the car, the race driver, you know, all of that type of stuff. So, I mean, that must have been such a, you know, tough decision, mustn't it, you know, to have made that decision. So yeah, very, very, very shocked when it was cancelled. But yeah, surprising. Oh, what's coming out at the cinema? So, and I know I talk about this quite often, but I mean, we love going to the cinema and honestly just never get to go lately because there's just never anything coming on, which is so gutting. But yeah, I think this week, I think the Barbie movie is coming out. So, I mean, it sounds quite sort of, you know, awful, but I mean, I have actually watched the trailer. I mean, it looks like it's potentially going to be quite funny. So I'm going to see if my daughter wants to go to that. I mean, I think it's like a sort of, you know, it's not a cartoon and it's not a sort of kids film, but I assume it is a, you know, I haven't looked, but I'm assuming it's not like 15 or anything like that. I don't know. Perhaps I need to check before we trot out, you know, or I offer her to go. But I mean, I've said this before, she doesn't really like going to the cinema anyway, so even to go and watch that, she'll probably say no. I mean, it's my son, he really likes going to the cinema, so as do I. So yeah, who knows, perhaps him and I will go instead, because I don't think it's, you know, like a girls movie. I know it says it's the Barbie movie, but I think it's going to be fun, you know, a fun movie. I think it's got Ryan Gosling, and I feel like it's got Ryan Gosling and, oh gosh, what's her name? You know, the one from Legally Blonde. What's her name? Oh, I can't think now. Anyway, her. I'm sure you all know who I mean. That lovely, pretty lady. Yeah, I'm sure it's got her in it. I might be wrong. But yeah, so anything with her in it is good, isn't it? Right, I'm going to leave this one for the moment and I'll do this after the video just because I'm aware that, you know, the time's ticking by. So let's count up how many we have done. So yeah, oh, we've done a lot. I mean, they're pretty quick to do, and obviously I haven't finished them off, but we're going to finish one off now and decorate it. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've done 10, which is pretty good, isn't it? To be honest, pretty good. Right, now, which one shall we decorate? I'm thinking, yeah, maybe one of these. I'm not going to do one of the stiff ones because, of course, I've got to coffee dye the inside. So I will finish those off after the video. Okay. Right. So I'm just grabbing in what I happen to have here, and I just happen to have this topper. It's just sat here. I mean, I haven't unpacked any of my craft things that I'd taken to Natalie's house or anything, so I'm a little bit limited on supplies, but yeah, just very conveniently this goes. So I'm going to take full advantage of that and yeah, use this. So, and my craft room, oh my goodness, such a mess, because I shut the door in my craft room, and so, you know, the guests don't come in here, or heaven forbid if they do, they'd be shocked because you can barely even get in here. And I normally have little Bo's bed in here, but there's nowhere to put it because the room is so full from all the stuff I've had to put in here. And she's just wandering around. She's trying to come and see me by my desk right now. And of course she can't get round because there's not enough walking room to actually get round. So yeah, she's... Oh, she's laying, bless her. She's laying like on top of just rubbish that's to the side of my desk. I mean, even she must think, oh my goodness, what goes on in this house? It is just so messy. I mean, not the house generally, but yeah, the craft room. She must think, what on earth goes on in here? Right, okay, let's use... So I'm going to use some of my 3-in-1 glue for the lace. So I'm just going to put some lace down the edge of here. Okay, like that. Okie dokie, right, and just trim this down. Like that. Okay. And thank you so much to everyone who's supporting me with my new video schedule and things. You know, I do apologise that it's, you know, a bit, you know, disappointing and things like that. But it really is, you know, very helpful for me, you know, at the moment. So, yes, thank you so much, you know, to everyone who's sticking with me and still watching and all of that stuff. Because, you know, like I say, it's just one of those things at the moment that, you know, I'm having to do other things that, unfortunately, you know, I'm not necessarily wanting to be doing, but yeah, having to do them, you know, such is life, really. So yeah, thank you so much for sort of sticking with me, and yeah, really do appreciate everybody's support. Right, so I'm going to put this down here. Now, when I put a closure on like this, what I do is I always hold it in place with the piece that's going to tuck in, so like that, so it's got the flap tucked in. Then what I do is I pick up the flap with the piece. I hope this makes sense, because then what you do is you know exactly where your glue needs to be. So I'm going to glue down here. Oops, just put a bit of glue onto that lace. Like that. Okay. And it takes all the guesswork out. You know exactly where your glue line has to go. And then you can obviously glue it down, you know, hassle-free. So, like that. Press that down. Like that. Okay. Now, I think this would look very pretty with some of those little cute flowers and things, but unfortunately, like I say, I don't really have all my supplies to hand. A lot of them are still in the boot of my car. Some of them are buried around my room that I just cannot find things at the moment. So yeah, I'm going to have to just kind of go with what's left on the desk, which, hey, I mean, it's still a lot. It's just, it's buried and I can't really see it. But yeah, I'm definitely not lacking in things that are still available, but they're just not instantly visible. So I'm just going to pop this lace, I think, maybe just a little bit down here. So I'm just going to cut that out there like that, and then just take this here, just cut that down. So just giving it a little bit more, you know, a bit more detail. Otherwise, perhaps it's a little bit boring. So just like that. Okay. Okie dokie. And then, yeah, let's just have a bit of bling on there. Oops. But like I said, I mean, you could easily finish this off with a, you know, paper clip or something if you prefer. You don't have to, you know, even have a closure on there. But I think the closures are, you know, are really nice too. So like that. And then I wonder if I could have a bow on there. Just having a look to see whether my bows are handy. Sure. Oops, I'm sure I had some. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've just got a packet of bows and things that I took with me. But okay. So I'm thinking maybe just have a little bow or something just to the side. I wonder if I'm better off with the pink one. Hold on. Oh, I'm not sure. Pink or cream? I think a pink. Yeah, I think the pink. There is another pink in here. Let's just try that one. Oh, or there is even a green. Oh, maybe that one. Yeah, that's quite pretty, isn't it? Just going to try the green. I don't think the green would look right, but we'll just try it, because it's always worth having a quick try, isn't it? Oh, the green does look quite nice. I'm actually surprised at how good the green looks. I'm just going to stand up and look down on it. And I know I say this all the time, but honestly, looking down on things sometimes gives you a completely different perspective to when you're just sat looking, you know, directly at it. I think I'm going to go with the pink, actually. I mean, the only thing is, obviously, I'm probably making this a little bit lumpy. So when you journal, you know, maybe you'd want to avoid putting such lumpy things on as this. But, I mean, I just can't resist something sort of pretty, really. So... or, I mean, I guess you could put the bow at the bottom and then it's less intrusive. Just wondering whether I could have it on the flap. Perhaps I should have it on the flap, and that way... because otherwise I just think if I put it here, when you journal, that's going to be a big lumpy bit, you know, to journal over. So, yeah, let's have it up here. Oops. Like that. Okay. So that's probably better, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So that is how that looks. And like I say, you could obviously glue this, like say, on 3 sides, and then you'd have like a side loading pocket. And then obviously, this might not be quite glued yet. Oh gosh, I have to be careful because it's still gluing. There we go. So pull that out, and then obviously you'd have journaling space there. And then we didn't do the journaling space here, so we'll just quickly put some paper on here. So again, I'll just fold this in. Okay. So take that like that. Okie dokie. Like that. Okay. So, yeah, I'm going to take it down at the top. And then I'm just going to come in quite a bit on this side. Like that. Okay, and then, of course, what you could do is just to, you know, tailor it a little bit more, or, you know, tidy it a little bit more, is round the corners. I didn't make a very good job of cutting this, so I'm just going to hopefully straighten it slightly. Okay. Very, very wonky cutting today for some reason. Not very good. Not good at all. Right, okay, so just get my corner rounder. Again, you know, not essential to round the corners. Sometimes I do round corners for things like this. Sometimes I leave them square. You know, I like both. And I think, you know, it's nice to do both, because I think sometimes it looks good rounded and sometimes it looks better squared. Oh, I'm not making a very good job of this. Perhaps I need to empty my... oh no. Perhaps I need to try and sharpen it. Is it with the tin foil or the greaseproof paper? I can never remember which. Oh dear. Not made a good job of rounding that corner. It actually looks worse than it did. Okay, right. Just going around there. Okay, so that looks all right. And then I'm just going to ink these up before putting them down. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put them together. Not because I think I'm going to ink both sides together, if you see what I mean, but just because it's making it thicker to hold to ink. Otherwise it's very flimsy. So if you just put them together, it gives you a little bit more of a firm surface, you know, in which to kind of ink around. So like that. Okie dokie. Right, okay. So we're then going to glue these down here. So, yep. So again, I'm using my 3-in-1. I've got my Anita's tacky glue, which is always, you know, my go-to glue. I've got that sat to the side. This was just, you know, happened to be the glue that, you know, my hand fell upon first. But, you know, they're kind of interchangeable, really. I like to use either. Oops. Got my wipes stuck on me. So, yep. So this is just a dried baby wipe. So I'm just, you know, getting any excess glue out. Okay, and then this one. And sorry, I don't know whether I actually said, but that was just part of the vintage toppers. So I know that, you know, I do get messages normally sort of, you know, with people saying, oh, can you actually say what, you know, what piece it was that you used there, or can you tell me which piece you used there? And I do honestly try and remember to say what I'm using when I'm using it. So yeah, just in case I didn't say, and I can't remember whether I did. So this side, like I say, I mean, you know, you could add the, you know, the plain papers here as well. It would look very pretty, you know, but it just depends really whether you want to or not. You obviously have put them here because of course that was patterned paper, but up to you really whether you would want to actually add them on the other side as well. But isn't that just such a gorgeous pocket? I just love it. And like I say, you could pop that into a pocket, or you could obviously have it glued onto a page, you know, completely up to you. But I just really, really like them. They're really nice. And you can probably see it wants to sort of spring open a little bit at the moment. Once it's in a journal, obviously that will press that flat and it will no longer want to do that. You know, once it's been in there for a couple of days or, you know, even a couple of hours probably, it will stop that tendency to want to kind of spring open, and it will be, you know, will be laying completely flat. So yeah, I really hope that you like them. I hope you have fun if you are going to make a bunch with me. And yeah, let us know below how many you've made, and yeah, share kind of the pictures on Facebook and things of the ones that you've made. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'd really appreciate it if you could give this video a thumbs up and maybe subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, thank you so, so much. I will see you in the next video, which is on Friday. So thank you so much. Oh, I might have got that wrong. It might be Thursday. Oh, I'll have to double check my filming schedule now. So yes, I apologise for that. I will see you in the next video anyway. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.